there's all this reflection, and that means that I've got to be planning and goal setting well in advance. And even though you think, well, I'm not teaching anything to anyone, you might be thinking, I could do a workshop. A workshop is a great way of getting new clients in, and a workshop can be online, and it can be sometimes, depending where you are, in person. Now, if you're planning a workshop for November, say, maybe a school holiday workshop for children for Christmas delights that they can do at home. They can have the mess at home, and mum supervises at home, and you're online, and they're making Christmas treats that are actually healthy, perhaps. But you still need to go, even though we're way back here in the year and you're thinking, that's November, December. It's a month away, 2 months away. What are you talking about, Geraldine? We need to have that plan in place, because when it gets to it, all of the other things, if it isn't in the diary already, they will start taking precedence.
Hello and welcome. Mentoring with Geraldine is a bite-sized practitioner podcast for naturopaths, nutritionists, herbalists, and practitioners. This podcast responds directly to your needs, the needs of the practicing natural therapist. With interviews, herbal discussions, something business and something clinical each week, you'll get the variety you need and enjoy to stay motivated in practice.
Hello, and welcome to Mentoring with Geraldine and the Bite Size Podcast. How are you today? What's going on in your life that, sorts out your goals, sets where you're headed, and makes you really think about the future? Because here on the podcast, I like to talk about behaviors and mindsets on all things practice and business. And if you want to hear anything particular and you want to hear something on a subject that interests you, please just email me, geraldine@mentoringwithgeraldine.biz, because I'd love to hear from you. So I thought that I might talk about goal setting for me and see if that helps you with goal setting for you. Goal setting can take on many forms, can't it? Everything to do with goal setting, of creation, of developing your programs, of developing your business, goal setting financially, where do you want to be? How do you want to reach that goal? So a great way of financially thinking about it is, what is my ultimate financial goal? And that kind of needs to be a sensible goal. It'd be great if you had the goal of, a super yacht and a multi-million-dollar house and things like that. But we don't want to get disheartened if we're not there when we want to be there. So let's start small. Maybe it's, I'm breaking even now. I would like to set a goal to have a holiday that costs X amount. I would like to set the goal of being able to buy some more kit. I would like to set the goal of being able to spend time, with my family somewhere else. I would like to set the goal of, come on, what is it you want to set the goal of? Just have a thought on that one. Where would you like to set that goal? What would you like that goal to be? I might have a bit of a worksheet on this one on Podia. So, because we want to think about our goals, we want to think about where we're going, and we want to do that on a regular basis. What are we trying to achieve? So we're coming in to the last quarter of the year. We've just been through the halfway mark, and we're slowly edging towards that final quarter. We're not there yet, but when I plan, I've planned my dates for next year, right? So I already know when I'm delivering the graduate mastery program. I've had a look at school holidays, because I have to think, who are the people who listen to me? They often have young children. And so they've got school runs, they're reliant on school holidays. So I've set my calendar for next year, knowing that at the first half of the year, the graduate program will be earlier in the month. And then we have a lot of public holidays early in the month in the second half of the year. So they will come a little bit later. When I think about the pediatric mastery course, I always have that August, September time. I always have that towards the end of the year. I have no idea why. I could probably have it at the beginning of the year, but I always have it around then. And that just seems to sit nicely with my calendar. And so that's where it's gone in already. Then I need to think, what else am I going to do? When am I going to see my clients? So I have Thursdays, but I've already set my diary so that I know that I have the last week of the month, I don't see any clients. I have that blocked out if I possibly can. Still probably see mentees. There'll be people who sneak in, but for people booking themselves in advance, they'll discover they can't book in for the last week of the month, so that I've got time to catch up on all my other business stuff. Because what time are you using to catch up on your business stuff, like the basic business stuff, the, putting the bills out, doing your tax, doing all that really boring stuff. So it's great if we can do a little catch up every week on these things. But we do need a little bit of a sweep and mop on those annoying things. And that's what I use that last week of the month for. So I'm setting up and heading forward. And I know people are saying to me all the time that they want to coach their clients and they don't know how to do it. And coaching courses are amazing. I mean, I did one years ago, but it doesn't actually tell me how to incorporate what I do now with the coaching course. So I'm developing that coaching course so that you can incorporate and use what you learn with your clients so that we can coach them to wellness, which is what we want. We've got all this training, all of this, pathophysiology, all this understanding from those years in uni, but nobody's ever explained how to incorporate them into more than 3 or 4 appointments, at about an hour each. So that's currently in development, and that is actually, you'll be able to see it on my site. It's on geraldineheadley.com, and it'll be on my website, Mentoring with Geraldine, so that you can go and you can have a look at what's on offer. And I look at it and that's all about forward thinking, isn't it? But it's also about reflection, because I look at it and go, what's the best way for people to book into this? I think in this particular course, it'd be really good if people came in together so that they already had a team. So they already knew who they were working with, that they could practice with. So I'm about to go and change the pricing for it to reflect that if you come in with a partner already, it's going to be cheaper than if you come in by yourself, because I want you to actively go out there and find somebody else to partner with. But that's fine, because there'll be other people in the group who are odd numbers and we can put people together in groups. But I think it's really important that we're able to practice the skills that I'm going to be teaching on this course. And I think that's going to be the better way of doing it. I've also decided that there's going to be, 4 classes, but then I'm thinking they need a break in the middle, so that everybody can catch up, they can reflect, they can really look at what they're doing and set things for their own business. Because of course, everybody's business is different. Even if we're the same, it's still different, isn't it? So it means that they can integrate these things into practice. So, there's all this reflection, and that means that I've got to be planning and goal setting well in advance. And even though you think, well, I'm not teaching anything to anyone, you might be thinking, I could do a workshop. A workshop is a great way of getting new clients in. And a workshop can be online, and it can be sometimes, depending where you are, in person. Now, if you're planning a workshop for November, say, maybe a school holiday workshop for children for Christmas delights that they can do at home. They can have the mess at home and mum supervises at home and you're online, and they're making Christmas treats that are actually healthy, perhaps. But you still need to go, even though we're way back here in the year and you're thinking that's November, December. It's a month away, 2 months away. What are you talking about, Geraldine? We need to have that plan in place, because when it gets to it, all of the other things, if it isn't in the diary already, they will start taking precedence. So it might be that you want to do a springtime webinar or a springtime garden walk. You want to take people to the botanic gardens and talk to them about herbs and spices they can use and things that, grow. And so you need to have that set in your diary at the right time. When is it that everything is in flower? When is it that is the best time? The morning is the best time. 11 a.m. is the best time to be picking herbs. So, if you're there when they're flowering and budding and you're seeing them, and it's, 10, 11 a.m. in the morning, it's not too hot, so all the essential oils haven't burnt off, things like that. But they've dried, the dew from the night has dried. Not that we have much dew in South Australia, but all of those things. And that's forward thinking, because we forward think, we forward plan, and we can forward goal set at the same time. So it's really important that we have those goals and we have those thoughts and we have those decisions of, what am I going to do? So I know I've got the coaching course coming up, and I know that I've got the virtual retreat with my Academy members. And that is really important, that I've already done the shopping for that. They're going to because I send out gifts on the virtual retreat. So they're all getting a gift. So I've gone and bought those already. Things to use on the day, as well as, little treats. So I've got those. I've already contacted a delivery company, because I'm going to, rather than post office this year, that way they can come and collect from me rather than me going to them, which took up a lot of my time last year, going to the post office constantly. So, there's simple things like that mean that I'm supporting myself, I'm supporting my goals, and that everybody gets their postal treat. Everybody gets what they're going to get. Stationery based this year. I'll give you a hint. Stationery based. But there's also a little bit of woo in there. But it's important, because I sought feedback last year from the virtual retreat, and it was too long, Geraldine. So we're going to have more breaks this time. We're going to do different woo things this time because of the feedback I got last year. My own feedback was, hey, going to the post office was a nightmare. Putting everything into a tube was a nightmare. This year it's bags. This year it's different, because I looked at how I did it as well and how much time it took from me. And if you listened to the conversation I had with Jules, she was building her business by doing other things. So she was doing the workshops, she was doing the raw food, showing people how to do raw food, and she would have got clients from that. And that's what we need to do. But we need to avoid exhausting ourselves. And if we've planned and goal set well in advance, then things don't just happen and start. Things will snowball. They can snowball, but that's not what we want, is it? What we want is planned increment and planned time, so that we don't overwhelm ourselves. We don't go into burnout. We don't exhaust ourselves. So some of those, just thought, let's be really thinking about what's coming up, not just for me, but for you. Let's set some of those goals. And I will put I'll put a link here for you to go and get some of the worksheets from some of these chats. I think I'm going to do more of those as we go on. Rather than workbooks, they're going to be worksheets, so that you can go through and fill out the worksheet in relation to the podcast that it works with. So I think that's it for today. Go forth and goal set is the moral of this story. And have an absolutely brilliant day. And I really look forward to hearing from you and chatting with you soon, seeing you in the group, seeing you around. All the best. Bye.
Thanks so much for joining me today. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast for the weekly episodes. If you'd like even more support and learning, then the Academy is for you. Here you'll find part 2 of the herbal discussions, more clinical learning, and case studies to support your clients in practice. Bye for now.